Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got our buddy Cabin Boy Matt in studio. How you doing, Matt?
Great, guys. Thanks for having me,
I
as
made
always.
I made you something real quick. I made you something because it's time, buddy. It is time to do this. This is for you. It is time to get excited. The leaves haven't turned, but something stirs in the air. Fantasy football is coming. And once again, he returns. Matt Offerman, known across the league as Cabin Boy, steps forward. Not to draft, not to trash talk, but to choose the order. He is the commissioner, the decider, the hand of fate in flip-flops. 11 men and a woman wait, hopeful, anxious, hungover. He holds their destiny in a hat, and they trust him. Why? No one knows. But this is the way. This is tradition. This is fantasy football.
Wow.
Yeah!
That was fantastic.
Let's get pumped up, man.
Oh,
It's time.
man. I
It's
can't
back.
believe I got an intro. That is
It's
so
back. I got goosebumps. It's back. It's time. We're doing it.
cool. Well, thank you for that.
So
You're welcome.
we just picked our draft order.
Yes.
We did it on Twitch and YouTube. We do it every year. This is our 20th year of this particular fantasy football
Had
league.
to do something big for the 20th.
Yeah.
The pyro, Tom, he outlawed it. There's been a lot of death.
yeah, thanks for wearing that suit.
Yeah, he looks good, right?
And like I said on Twitch and YouTube, I'm putting it all on the line this year, and I have to get my name on the trophy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that we've done this for 20 years. I've never won
This
a
is your
championship.
year, yeah.
Daniel's won a championship.
I have.
Matt's won.
Pressure's off for me.
Me and Kevin haven't won.
Yep, you, Kevin
Yeah.
Murdoch.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who hasn't won. You
yeah.
three guys, Darren hasn't won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Susie's won
Wait,
it 5 times.
so many times. So she's
my
tired
God.
of winning.
Yeah.
Has she ever taken a break and then come back?
No.
God.
Because we've wanted that, I'm sure, right? We're like, oh, get out of here. Anyway, good to see you, man.
Yeah, you two guys. Thanks for having me.
It's kind of a shame that one of the only times we get to see you, and I know we're all busy and families and kids and everything and businesses, but one of the only times we get to see you is when it's fantasy football time. So very good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Well, you guys, we've seen each other a little more. I started up the podcast, and you guys have been coming on. It's been great.
Yeah, for sure.
So Tom's episode of Who's the Baddie's out today.
All right. Okay. And
Nice.
you could find that anywhere podcasts are heard.
Yeah,
correct?
just search Who's the Baddie. It's a movie podcast. We talked about Demolition Man. You guys have both done it. And Dan,
Great show.
Thank you. Yes.
Great show.
Both of your episodes are easily 2 of our most downloaded.
Nice.
And I know that we were going to try to get you back because of Tyler was going to come and do Weird Job Wednesdays. Have you thought about another movie you'd like to discuss?
We were going to try and do Friendship, but I hated that movie.
I listened to you guys, and
hated it.
I heard your show where you said you walked out.
And it was my fault.
Why?
It was I watched the trailer. First of all, I'm not watching any more movie trailers. I'm done with them.
Really?
Yeah, because they give away way too much of the movie for me. I don't know if it's just the way my brain works or whatever, but I don't know. And so I watched that trailer and I was really excited for it, and then I started watching the movie and I'm like, well, this is just, I've seen all of this, and then even the ending, like I walked out before that was my fault, and like I'm gonna have to go back and revisit it, but I projected my expectations of what that movie should be based on his show, and I should not have done that. It was my fault.
I guess I have those expectations too, because you and I, we both absolutely love Tim
Love him.
Robinson, and our wives both absolutely hate him.
Hate him.
So I don't have a lot of people to talk to about him, and I figured it's on demand now. I've been meaning to get it, but I have to do it when my wife's not around because she won't watch the movie.
Yeah, no, Andrea won't either. She absolutely despises him. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll force her to watch some of his I Think You Should Leave sketch show, and she'll just like turn to me. And Andrea's not a big cursing person, which is why Maisie like hates it when I curse, and I curse all the time. But Andrea will turn to me and be like, "What the F is this?"
Yeah.
You know, like
yep.
we're watching that show, and it's one of the only things that will literally trigger her to curse at me. Like,
can we get something that isn't dumb? Like, and I'm like, no, I love this so much.
I've been watching a lot more movies for the podcast. My wife has that same, because sometimes she'll sit down to watch the movies with me when it's something she likes, but then sometimes, like, we did Under Siege, and she's like, all right, what's this movie? I was like, all right, Steven Seagal is a chef on a boat.
Yeah.
And like 10 minutes in, she just gets up and is like, I got to find something else to do. What do you
Yeah.
But
some of these things don't hold up.
No.
They really don't. Chat room checking in says, I stand with Andrea. He makes me mad. Tim Robinson makes a lady in our chat room mad.
He's a love it or hate it guy.
He really is.
I
There's
think
no
he's
gray
so
area on
funny.
that guy. Former skateboarder. I think everything about the guy's cool.
when the girl pops out of the cake with her teeth out, that made me a man when I was
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
I don't know how old I was,
And
but
it also made me seek
11.
out those type of movies because, like, I knew as a young boy, if I was watching a movie and one of the tropes, like if the action star is,
Yes.
meeting some woman in an Army Navy store, I'm like, well, there's a good chance I'm gonna see her big giant, Brazilian titties very soon.
We talk about that on the show from time to time because 80s and 90s movies have these gratuitous boobs that you just don't get anymore. You used to see boobs for no...
Surrounded by porno, though. That's why.
Like Die Hard. For no reason whatsoever, when the terrorists come, they break into that one room and there's two people having sex.
Yeah.
That doesn't add anything to the story.
yeah, but it had to be put in
I
there.
think it does. You know what I think it does? It normalizes sex. And there's a human aspect to it.
But also-
I feel like, oh yeah, sex still exists in the world. Thank you, Bruce Willis.
It's the reason we all saw boobs at way too
Yes.
young of an age, which I've been thinking about recently. Like, my son just turned 11, and my other son
Thinking about
turning
showing
10.
him some boobs?
Well, he's never seen any other
better
boobs
you
but
do
his
it.
mom.
Put his car keys in a fishbowl and have your wife take her top off.
No, he's seen that.
Oh,
But I'm saying, like, a stranger's boobs in a movie he's never seen, and I'm thinking about showed it to him because I
Come
saw
here,
it.
boy. You're gonna do what are you, king of the hill?
Well, because then like, that's a normal part of at least my childhood.
Well, you gotta let him. You gotta let him. I can't think of anything more awkward than my dad asking me to come to his bedroom to watch boobs on a TV.
Yeah.
It's surprised. It popped because that's what happened to us. No one knew that scene was in there.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to know. Because
Yeah.
there's pre-internet, no one's talking about.
But that's the way it has to be. It can't be a forced. You see the boobs. It has to be.
Well, there's no surprises anymore.
Well, I mean, you have to plan it. You have to put on you have to put on an old DVD that has boobs in it and
Well,
hope
that-
he's walking by when the boobs come out.
the Under Siege or
Yeah.
that same scene.
Well, that and we had pornos in the woods for some reason. The Playboy magazines. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Did you guys have that where you
Yeah.
grew up too?
Every
Oh.
boy had a milk crate. Well, you'd find a hobo camp, and then he'd start with
Yeah.
his porno, and then you'd add to it. And,
Yeah.
you'd kick him out, you beat him up and kick him out, and then you'd steal his porno.
You look at your friend's dad's magazines
Yeah.
or whatever you
I
saw, you're like,
remember-
whoa, this changed.
I remember one of my friend's dads had one of the best collections of Playboys I'd ever seen. And I mean, just like hundreds of them. So when everyone would go to sleep, I would act like my stomach hurt and I'd excuse myself to his bathroom. It had a pocket door, and I remember I would go in there and they're like, oh, and then I'd be like, oh, my belly. And I'd pull out the porno.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, yeah, sweet, sweet bellyache.
So, Matt, how's family life going? How old is
Good
your...
segue from porno to family.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, you know.
A true talk show pioneer.
Yeah, speaking of
trying
Playboys
to
in the
clean
woods.
this up a little bit. We got sponsors and, kids listening. I don't know. There's no kids listening at all.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, my daughter just turned 2, so we've got like a full-on. We just got back from Brazil. My wife, obviously, born and raised in Rio, so we go there
Wow,
once
man.
a year.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's actually been my baby's 3rd time going to Rio, if you can believe that.
That's crazy.
So how is Brazil? Because I feel like I've always wanted to go down and travel to Brazil. It's such a gigantic country, and it's got an insane amount of people too. Like it's a bit.
I don't really know much about it at all. You
No,
know? And
I thought you were
like-
going to say such gigantic asses, but you said you would give it to country.
No,
Well,
I'm
that
trying
too.
to clean it up, Matt,
But
and
the
be
chat
respectful
room-
to your wife's
I mean,
culture.
the chat room just said big brown asses.
Okay,
Like, that's what
well,
they said.
there are animals in
They
there.
do have big asses. I don't know that much about it. I know it's a mammoth of a country. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ginormous.
It is.
I
It's
remember when World Cup was there, like I want to say like 10 years ago or so.
about 10.
Yeah, I remember how it was getting a lot of bad press, about being because
Well, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it is
huge.
dangerous. I mean, the good thing is, you know, my wife and her family have lived there forever, so they know where to go and not to go, and
Gotcha.
they've steered me clear. I've never really felt unsafe. One time in traffic, there was like this maniac on a motorcycle that had like a gun out because people were beeping at him and stuff. But he didn't like
that
point at
sounds
us.
normal. I mean, that happened up here on Colonial
Right,
in front
right.
of Peter's Kitchen, and the lady shot the guy to death.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I saw that story.
I mean, like, I literally was there, and then I saw the cops behind me, and I was driving home, and then I was like, I wonder what happened there. I looked it up. The lady just pulled a gun out and murdered a guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess that could happen anywhere.
But that's few and far between. In Brazil, you saw that he put his gun away, he drove away. Nothing, no cops are called. Like, this is a normal
But that's the way it
occurrence.
should have been handled. See, that was safer. Nobody got injured. This lady killed a man.
But they do have a saying: you're never further than 3 miles away from danger when you're down there.
Ooh, I like that.
But
That's like a movie tagline.
it kind of
man.
is, I guess. But there's a lot to do. The food's great. I've had great experiences with the people. It's funny because
People are always awesome.
she lives in like a smaller town called Taquara, which is like more, I don't know if you want to say suburban, but it's like off, not like a touristy destination.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so when we stay there and we stay at her parents' house, she has a gym at the end of her street, and I'll go while we're there. And I walk down,
That's a flex.
and
pun
I know
intended.
I know
Well,
enough Portuguese to like pay my way, and
That's what I like about South America. Extreme rich or extreme poor. No between. I like that.
So after I left the man in traffic with the AK, I went to the private gym to pump some iron.
I'm always the only white guy in there, and the 1 in 20 guys in there that can
Blanco
speak
gorilla.
English. No, they'll come up to me and because they don't see Americans ever, and they'll be like, "Hey, Joe Biden, America." Hey.
Hey, fall off bike. Hey.
And they always want, they just want to talk about the U.S., but in a very friendly way, not in like a hostile or I can't get out of here. Or, it's always
And that's got to. If you're a MAGA supporter and some Spanish guy starts calling you Joe Biden, that's got to be a weird, right? That's gonna be weird.
Also, you do stick out like a sore thumb. I feel
do.
like in
Yeah.
Brazil, yeah, because you're a real
Yeah.
Midwest white, you know, like
Right.
Yeah.
blonde hair and very pale skin. Like, I've never been to the favelas there because they're always like, you might not make it out alive. So there's
What
like
are they gonna do? Tear the skin off your body?
No,
Like what?
they rip all your belongings off of them. The kids run at you, and then
You know what? I've thought about that before.
and then they
This
leave
is-
you with just a tie and your open briefcase.
I've always wanted to see what that feels like because if they're not like pulling my skin off my body,
Yeah, no, they're
there's
just robbing
something
you.
very. I don't know. There's something seems very freeing about having a group of humans rip all the
Well-
clothing off my body. It's like I can finally be free.
So the favelas there are run by the drug dealers, and they will not let you leave. And the cops don't go up there, and they'll just keep you there and kidnap you and try to get a ransom out of
Oh
you.
my
and just,
God!
and
you're
so,
strong. You'd make a great worker. I'd put you to work.
so I've been told by many people never to go up there. But we say I don't want it to come off sounding like it's this hellscape because
No.
Rio's
It's a huge country.
I've been there 8 times. I've never had any problems. There's like the touristy areas, Copacabana, Ipanema, all Christ the Redeemer. Like all those are really safe and really fun. The food's great. People are great. I have a great time when I go down there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I bet the food is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the Steelers for a second.
I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when it was coming.
So
Are you excited?
I watched the first episode of Enigma last night for whatever reason.
What's Enigma?
The Aaron Rodgers documentary.
Oh God.
You haven't watched it? Oh, you got to watch
He's not that bad. He's
You gotta
not that weird.
You got to beef up on your guy.
The media goes too hard. Like when you watch it, you're like, oh, this is not that weird.
I
You know, it's like he's
I
not-
also think he leans in enough. Like when you see him on
Yeah.
Pat McAfee, and I watch enough Pat McAfee to understand that when you see him on there, and they'll address some of the crazier things he says, and he'll like roll his eyes, and he's doing like a.
he's like, oh, effing around.
Yeah, it is almost like he's doing like a villainy kind of character thing, and he's leaning in a bit.
I will say I did relate to something
I still
he
hate
said.
him, but
He was just talking about winning the Super Bowl with the Packers the first time, and the only time. But he talked about after he won, like, you know, then you get in the bus and you go or whatever, and then you're just like, oh, what now? And then I was like, but we talked about that before. It's like your whole life, your goal was to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wins the Super Bowl MVP. You
Yeah.
know,
That's like
confetti's
me
coming
with
down.
the fantasy football trophy. It's like, I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, where do I go?
And that it seemed like that's going to lead into his journey of self-discovery and his ayahuasca and all this stuff where he's trying to figure out like how to be happy or whatever. And I'm like, that's relatable.
I know. I do think that's such a fascinating thing. Before you ask me the Aaron Rodgers question, have you guys seen 100-Foot Wave? That
Yes,
HBO show.
yeah.
There's a guy on there that surfed like the biggest wave, and after he was done, was kind of like, well, now what do I do? And it's just, I love that. I don't love it, but I think it's so interesting, that thing, like when you accomplish your goal when you're at a relatively young age, what do you do? Like, what is the rest of life? What's
your
do
goal?
you go?
Like, what is happy? You're like, is your goal happiness? Is your like what? Like, this has been my driving goal for so many years that I don't know anything, and that's what it takes to be the best, or surf the biggest wave, or win the Super Bowl and become. And then it's like when you accomplish that, and then the next day, I imagine it's like, it's almost like a wave of depression, where it's just like, well, what's the meaning of all this?
The next goal, and unfortunately, the next goal, you'd be measuring it with the same unit of measure you were measuring that big wave, and it may not. That doesn't work. You can't, because you might be doing something that's internal, something that's personal, something that's mental, something that's for your family. It may not be an accomplishment. It may not even be a wave, but you don't know what that is. So how do you decide? Oh man,
and that's coming from us normal people. I'll say normal. It's like, and then you get the extreme abnormal. The 1%
like Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, who's seemingly was motivated no matter how many Super Bowls, and then I guess at a certain point you get motivated to be the best of all time, and that's what was his goal. And it looks like it may
My
happen,
two favorite Tom Brady accomplishments.
Okay.
Broadcasting and crypto. Thank you. Those are my two favorites.
Oh,
So
the end. Great job.
Back to Aaron Rodgers. So, of course, I talked about a lot. I bet on the Steelers.
Do you see
season
yourself,
win total under last year?
Do
and
you
lost
see
a lot of
yourself
money?
as our show's Aaron Rodgers, like a bit of an enigma? How are you trying to find your fun?
And
questing for it,
and I lost a lot of money. And although there seemed like you guys lucked out a little bit, stupid Wilson throwing moonballs,
old moonball
50-50s up to Pickett or Pickens. And so then now, of course, you get rid of both your old quarterbacks, and you draft or you get Aaron Rodgers, and now we start in the season at 41 or 40. And you got DK Metcalf, and the Steelers seemingly, in what's been talking about on the podcast, like, oh, they're making a run for it. They won last year, right?
Is that what everybody's kind of like, all the talking heads are saying about what the Steelers are doing and why they made those moves?
Yeah, you trade for Ramsey. I guess you still got to shore up Watt because he doesn't look happy. But you look at it, you're like, can Aaron Rodgers at his age do something for the Steelers, right? As like it seems like one hit, he's going to be injured. Although, is that just because of what happened 2 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Like, he really has not been injury ridden through his career, so it's kind of like, it's not one of these things where it's like he had that.
It's not a plague. It's not an injury. He's not been plagued with it. It's not something that will continue to hurt him, right?
But his age, like, the only person to have any success after 40 is Tom Brady. It's one of one, it's like, can someone like Rodgers replicate that? And then you're like, in today's NFL, you can't hit the QB, it's like, if you, any sort of hit at all is a flag. So that's changed.
What were your thoughts when you found out that you guys got Aaron Rodgers?
For the way I would describe it, and I will echo a lot of my Steeler friends, we are in the same boat, is complete and total indifference toward this year. No, all of us are completely checked out. We know nothing's going to happen. It's another wasted year. We're drafting our quarterback next year. Why not just suck? What are we doing? It's the retirement tour for Aaron Rodgers, Cam Hayward, and Darius Slay. We're signing all these old guys for, like, that's not a way to win in football. Get the oldest guy at a position in like a bunch of different positions. It's so stupid. Okay, yeah, maybe they'll win 11 games, I guess, maybe. But I think it's more likely they'll win like 8, but I just have zero excitement or interest in this year. Nothing's going to happen.
So
It hurts my heart to hear that.
I was looking through the books yesterday, and you can get under 8.5 even money on some of my sports books, and some of it is -110 or whatever. So I would definitely bet the under, and in fact, I sprinkled a little money on the under because at even money, it seems like there's a lot of things. Because if Rodgers does get injured anyway, it will take him longer to recover. In your 40s, and your Duck Hodges is your backup. So it's like you're not going to win with him, and so it's like that seeming. But if he stays healthy the whole year, then you're like, with Tomlin's a good coach.
Yeah.
Like
Could
I
be
was saying this last year.
Yeah.
And then I get fooled, and I'm like, am I going to lose money again? I'm betting against the Steelers, and Tomlin's seen.
Yeah, I just wouldn't touch it this year. I think because I wouldn't be surprised if this was like finally the 6-win season. But at the same time, I mean, if everybody stays healthy, all these old guys, 10 or 11 is very possible. But what did you think? Because you're a Dolphins fan, the Minka for Ramsey trade. I was like, what is going? I felt like it was a total lateral move. It's one old safety whose best days are behind him for an old cornerback whose best days are behind him. Like, what are we doing? It doesn't make anybody better.
I think it was just a nothing. They didn't want to pay. The Dolphins didn't want to pay their tight end, and I think that's a tell in the fact that I believe
dump in Tua and Daniels.
What?
Or Dolphins, like, isn't that the thing that next year, like, Tua and Daniels are probably, like, their days are numbered, right?
Well,
Or how long are they under contract still?
Oh wait, Mike McDaniel, you mean?
Yeah, Mike
Okay.
yeah.
McDaniel, sorry.
Yeah, it's hard to say. People are speculating that. Although I think that they all know that, and they know the pressure too. So it's like last year they just was throwing to the tight end the whole time, and like Tyreek Hill had a bad season.
Yeah.
Waddle didn't have a good season and stuff like that. They're just like, they're just throwing to Jonnu Smith the whole time, and I think that
That's what
changes.
Arthur loves it.
I'm so
You're bringing-
so frustrating.
He's a
having
John
him.
O guy.
What bad process. They have a middle of the road offensive coordinator, and they're just bringing in all his old guys that he wants
It's
to
his
use.
buddies. He
Yeah.
loves
God,
it. Those are my
it's
guys.
so frustrating.
Yeah.
This deal, I'm so annoyed at this coming season. I'm so annoyed.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. You want to do the Dolphins versus Steelers bet again? I need to win my $100
No,
bet.
I don't
God.
this year. No.
Anyway, so we're doing it again. We're drafting in probably 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
I think I'll
we
talk
already
to
have
you
a
guys
place.
off the air.
I think I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit, and we know we got to get you out of here.
Yeah. And so again, who's the baddie? The episode released today with
What was the movie you guys?
Yeah,
covered?
so we did
Demolition
Demolition Man.
Nice.
It was a pretty funny one. I mean, we really broke down the Taco Bell in that movie to a really insane level.
Yeah.
We had a good time. Yeah, who's the body? Where Baddie? I always say who's the body. I don't know why I do that. But
You're
who's the
horny. You're a horny real man.
Yeah. That's something we
You
all
just
have
got
in
back from
common.
Brazil. Well, who's the body? I'm Brazil. Asses.
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks to both of you guys for
Appreciate you,
continuing to do that. It's I love having you guys on.
The show is so good, man. It's such a good podcast. It's really, really well done. If you need a movie podcast, this is unlike any that you've probably heard. I think you'll dig it.
I hope your listeners do, and we'll get you back in here as soon as we can, Dan.
Yep, we'll do it for sure. Well, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. We will see you tomorrow.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
All right. So you were telling me about a story from last night. You're watching baseball?
Yeah, well, it's All-Star Weekend, and they did a couple of nights ago, they did the Home Run Derby, which you would think people wouldn't still care about this. But I will say, in watching a lot of the MLB All-Star coverage, Major League Baseball does the best job, I feel, at the presentation of their players. They have like the best music. They have the best pyro because they've been doing it a lot longer than everybody,
Yeah.
So when you see them do their All-Star game, they build these like structures for the players where like for the home run derby, they had like the smoke machines, but like the player comes out of the ground on like a platform.
Yeah.
And then the smoke is like spraying on them and then pyro's going off. It's awesome while Ludacris is rapping. It's better than, I'm telling you, it's even better than NFL. NFL will get there and eventually surpass. But they don't. Where the NFL fails is their players aren't as personable as baseball players. For whatever reason, baseball players, the crowd and the league seem more cohesive. Hockey's got it too, but the NFL, the league hates the players hate the league. In MLB, it doesn't look like that.
But there's also the element of they're not wearing a full face uniform,
True.
everything the same. You
True.
know what I'm saying? Like you're walking out there, your face is exposed.
Yeah.
There's more personality into it than the NFL. Like a lot of times we're just, we're seeing players with helmets on, and it's kind of like they all blend in uniform.
I wish they did, and they're starting to. Like when you see like the flag football and stuff that they're doing now, they're getting it. Like you're like, oh, okay, well you're going to pass MLB.
Yeah.
You already have surpassed MLB in what you do. But my point is, MLB, in my opinion, Major League Baseball still does the best job at, like, when you see their All-Star game, it's like it's so well done. They had Ludacris and Jermaine Dupri doing like abbreviated versions of songs from Atlanta while the players were being introduced. And then they had dancers that were like high-fiving the players as they came out while pyro's going off. It looks awesome. Like it just really looks good.
I also saw a social media video about the person who won the home run derby. Had some video of him as a kid, saying like, "I'm gonna win the home run derby" or whatever, and then the whole thing is like, he called it. Now but it's funny because guess what? All these players said that when they were kids
because they're all obsessed with baseball,
and then so did 100,000 other kids.
It's Cal Raleigh's who you're talking about, and you're gonna love him. His nickname is the Big Dumper because he's got a big ass.
And so it's funny, but it is a unique thing for us to see at our age because when we were younger watching sports stars, there was an HD video of them playing their sport as much as there is now because at this point in time, these guys are, 26 years old? They grew up with HD video and tons of video of them. You know what I'm saying?
I saw
it's
this kid, like, when he's holding the bat and he's yelling, like, I'm going to be the home run champ. Or I am the home run champ. I'm like, well, I was already working at Real Radio when you were yelling that. That's what happens. It also has not been that long. Like, he did that when he was, like, maybe
10 years ago.
And now he's like, it's been 12 years. He's 22.
Yeah. This is 2011 or something.
But Cal Raleigh won. And what's really interesting about Cal is that he had his dad throw to him, and a lot of times that's a mistake because, like, a lot of times, like, the players in the home run derby will try to get like a family member or somebody that also played baseball. It's very, there's a lot of tradition in baseball.
Okay,
and a lot, it kind of ties into family. So. He had his dad throw into him, which can hurt you, but in this case, he even said it. He's like, this guy has thrown maybe 100,000 balls to me, and I've hit him at home. So it's like, it's perfect. And then behind the plate, 15-year-old brother. So it was his whole family working on it.
Okay.
And they're the ones that won. Pretty cool. Because I know you like those, like, LeBron and Bronny things, and we've had other players, that when you get to do something with your sons, but this one is like dad, and then the son, he broke, he hit the home run derby, he won it, and then his little brother got to be the catcher. That's pretty rad.
That is rad.
It's like, that is. I look at that, I'm like, wow, that's really, really cool. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk to you about is I witnessed history watching the All-Star game. And I don't know if anybody else watched the All-Star game. I like having sports on in my house. It's just like, I like the energy level of it. It's something that's pleasing for my anxiety. But if you were watching the All-Star game last night, you witnessed history. You witnessed the murder of the modern day Major League Baseball umpire. He is dead now. It is gone because during the game, and it also involves Cal Raleigh, he was playing catcher, and I forget who the pitcher was at the time, but he threw it. The umpire called a ball. Cal, being a very good catcher and knowing the placement of pitches, said, I think I want to use my robot challenge because they're only allowing the robot challenges within the All-Star game. This is their way to test it. And they made a big deal before the game about, like, this has never been done before. It's the first time we're using a robot challenge, and each side gets a couple of challenges. And you know the old thing. It's if you use it and you get it, you keep it. If you use it and you're wrong, you lose it. And
they're reviewing it.
And that umpire called a ball, and Cal said, nope, that was a strike. And then they threw it up to the booth. And then because they touched their helmets, everyone touched their helmets, like, let's check it. And they checked it. And in lightning speed, they're like, sorry, that's a strike. He's out. Boom, changed the whole dynamic of the game. That's it. And then they put the camera on the umpire for like a split second. And I think you and I have done this enough where we're almost like body language experts. And I watched that umpire and I was like, oh, he knows. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. They're like, that's it. Dead is dead.
So baseball,
it's done. It's like that was the time. It'd never been used before, and then they used it, and then they used it in a pseudo real scenario, and that was it.
So
robots are here.
Baseball and soccer are they're unique sports in which they're so old that there's a lot of tradition. And of course, in soccer, like they've introduced technology with balls going over the line.
Oh,
and the
goal line technology.
But then the rest, where you're giving out a red or yellow card, there's a lot of subjectivity in that.
Yes,
so I feel
there
like
still is. Refs can still implement their kind of. I mean, they can control the game. They can put themselves in the game. A soccer ref can.
But
so can NFL refs.
That game it lends itself to the subjectivity, especially when it comes to fouls and stuff, and how hard or if the person meant to do it. Like there's a lot of stuff that
nuances.
It's not just cut and dry that you can know with
centimeters.
And so, but with balls and strikes in baseball, like they know exactly where the box is and can use technology and have been to know if something is inside or outside the box.
Television has been using it. Like when I watch MLB, and like I watch a lot, and you'll have it on just casually in the background, like the noise, right? And they have the speed of the pitch, the trajectory, where it goes, and in the strike box at every single game I've watched for the last 3 years. I'm a new baseball guy.
Yeah.
And they've always had the technology.
So essentially, and then through instant replay, you could definitely see if a runner's out or not. And so really
they slow it down. To see whether he was tagged or if he got to the base
by milliseconds. You could see exactly when the ball hits the person's glove and then where the player's hands or feet are. So essentially, you can take all the referees out go straight to only technology.
That's my argument.
And run it like that.
That's my argument because
and really other sports you can't. Even
people
NFL.
will trust it more, right? Like I both love and hate. I'm a little on the fence here because I'm a new baseball guy, right? When I started watching baseball, this wasn't a thing, and the umpire, like you would know that there are different umpires that have different size strike zones. Right?
Yeah. That was part of the game.
The Tom Van strike zone might be more lenient. The Dan Dennis strike zone might be real tight.
That was part of the game.
That was part of the game. But now that that's gone, like, so what do you think people will like more? I like the robots. I'm pro robot.
You say gone, but they haven't implemented this or even said they were going to in regular games yet, right? They may not get rid of the umpire for a while.
I don't think anybody thinks that this wasn't the test to do it, right?
Yeah, if they're going to test it, you're wondering, like, why are they testing it?
Correct.
And then it's like, is this inevitable?
Like, they put it in there like they were doing it for fun, right? And they're like, oh, this is the first time we're doing it. They kind of did it. The way I took it, and this could be wrong, somebody might know more. If you do, you can call us. But I took it as like, oh, let's make this a little more rock and jock, MTV. We're giving them some challenges. Yeah, so they gave them the challenges. But once I saw how good it was, and then they showed the umpire, I'm like, oh, it's over. That is done.
See, I don't see the benefit in leaving it up to the umpire, really, because especially if you're already broadcasting.
You have to pay him. That's the reason right there. Fire him.
Well, even regardless of the money, like you're showing the strike box, and I've seen baseball games where the ball in, like, as a viewer on TV, you see it was outside of the strike box, and the umpire called a strike.
Right.
And then you're like, well, that is.
And then the commentator will say they got it wrong.
Yeah, that's
the
unpleasant.
commentator will like, oh, he got it wrong.
And so then, as a viewer or a fan of baseball, you got to be like, well, since he got it wrong, that bothers me.
Right.
And then if you're always able to get it right, or
why wouldn't you want that?
Then
same goes
you
for
can
the
never
NFL.
be bothered.
How mad are we about calls that change the entire?
And they do a good job taking that out.
They do. They do.
Or
And
adding challenges and
I
stuff.
think they have to work really hard at it, though, because they haven't implemented it as much. I mean, they still have like tons of referees, and then they've added more cameras, and then they've added the New York element to it, and they've sped that up, and they've said, like, we're going to speed this up.
The only thing they can't do is like holding on the offensive line, because that is subjective, and because every play, if you talk to players, there's a hold. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like how they call it. It depends on how they're letting the line hold a little bit. They're being strict on it. It's like every game is a little different, and that's the same thing with soccer or football.
I don't know if you can.
I
think we're good with soccer these days. I was going to tell you that. I think you can say soccer now.
The referees decide kind of during the game how the game is going to go, whether it's going to be super strict, loose, and stuff, and then the players know how based on the referee's actions. So that is, there's a little bit of that.
But that's why we grew to have.
In baseball, it doesn't seem like the sport doesn't lend itself to that kind of subjectivity. Because like
it doesn't have to, but it does right now. See, like they know the names
with
of
a
the
bigger
umpires.
box, yeah.
My point is the umpires are almost characters. Like they know them. They've got lists of them in their clubhouses. There's the reason why in soccer we all knew here in Orlando. We all knew Ted Uncle.
Yeah,
he was the notorious. I think a pro. U.S. pro ref, Ted Uncle, and we hated the guy because he always got the call wrong for us. So it almost adds a layer of drama to it. I don't know. I could make arguments for what I like both, or what I like better, rather.
Well, that's the thing, too, where in baseball field, depending on the field, the measurements of the fields are different, and walls are different sizes. And stuff so that adds into the entertainment.
I love that. Yeah, you got the green monster. You got like in Atlanta where they were playing last night. It's got deep corners. So if you get one in the corner that's past third base and it sticks there, then you could get like an in-game home run, not even hit it out of the park, just because it was so deep in the corner.
Which
would be really, really cool. This is baseball, sort of baseball related, but not really. And I know we're going to run out of time here, but they're releasing all of the old backyard baseball games. Okay. Did you ever play backyard baseball on Nintendo?
No.
It was all the little kids, it was kind of like a Sandlot based game.
Okay.
And I believe it came out in 1997. It's called Backyard Baseball 97. You can find it on most platforms. It's on Steam, I think. I got it for Nintendo. I got it for Switch. But it's the old game from the 90s, and it's awesome. Like they ported it over, and you can play, and they're releasing like all of them. They did like Backyard Baseball 97, Backyard Baseball 2001 has like some of the pros in it, like Ken Griffey Jr. and people are in the game, and they're re-releasing a lot of these nostalgia games. It's really, really cool.
I've seen that pop up on Reels where like California games and
they're bringing all that back.
Hacky Sack.
All the 90s games are back.
Yeah. And but the young kids aren't playing them. Middle-aged men that remember these games are playing them, right?
Yes. Although my daughter is a weirdo. I have found that my daughter Maisie she likes old games. Frogger. She likes Frogger of all games.
Well, that kind of game where you're trying to go from one side to the other, or like a Pac-Man.
It's an easy game.
It's very easy.
Rudimentary to understand.
Mindless.
Now, do you know that when I was a young boy, I too loved Frogger? There is something genetic, I think, about these like weird, even like the video games you like. There is something genetic about it's crazy. Because we were staying at the cabin, and you and I have always made the joke about all these dumb old video games. Like kids hate them. I mean, hell, I look at them now and I hate them. I like new, awesome video games. But we went upstairs and started playing Frogger, and I kid you not, both of us, like, I fell back in love with it. I'm like, I love Frogger. I got to get the girl frog. I got to get the fly. And then when you start, you got to get on the log and get all the way over to the left as fast as you can. That way you can do them all in an order.
It is like a Pac-Man where it's universal, timeless kind of, because it's easy to understand. You're, going
simple.
from level to level, simple. Yeah.
Very, very, very simple. Suzette in our chat room said Q*bert. That was another one that I loved, is Q*bert.
Yeah.
I used to know the pattern on how to do Q*bert in a way. I tried to play Q*bert at they had Q*bert at Moe's bowling event. Couldn't play a lick of it.
Yeah, it's like Tetris and stuff like that. There's some
Timeless.
games that I feel like everybody could sit there and play, and
But Tetris is one of those games where I think I enjoy it, but there's a part of my brain that says, "Don't play Tetris. That's for nerds." Seriously.
So still,
Yeah. There's a part of my brain that will talk to me about that.
I like how it's considered a nerdy game where there's nothing like what's nerdy about it. It's just blocks. You're putting shaped blocks into.
I don't like the Russian connection to that game. I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like you damn commies. You stinky ass commies.
Why was there a Russian connection?
There's a
to
documentary about it starring very famous people. Is it Zach Galifianakis or who's in that? There's a very famous documentary that came out, I want to say 2 years ago, that's about the gentleman that sold Tetris to, like, what was his name? Like Asimov or something. Like he had some Russian, his name was like, Alex Exagerjov or something,
because
Alex Jaganov.
The beginning of Tetris, there's a digital representation
Of the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Russian-made game.
Okay.
I believe.
Which is funny because
We're doing the thing where I'm not looking this up and we're trying to figure it out. Do you want me to look it up now? Do you want, like...
Yeah. Why is Tetris Russian?
Tetris. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a documentary on Netflix. I think it was one of the first big Netflix documentaries where they go through like how Tetris was sold. And it was like kind of like the KGB was involved. So Alexei Pajotnov, a Russian software engineer, he created it in 1984. He developed it working at Dorodyastine Computer Center at a Soviet Academy of Sciences in Moscow. He didn't make any money from Tetris for years because the rights were owned by the Soviet government. So that's what the documentary covers.
Okay.
He eventually regained the rights in the 1990s and co-founded the Tetris Company in 1996. And I guess that's what the story would be about.
It is the most Russian game I can
Well, the music was always cool, right? And see, everybody knows it. Because you know why everybody knows that GD game? One device, Game Boy. That's why we know Tetris.
Yeah.
Game Boy.
You spent hours playing it
Because
on
that's all
road
we had.
trips.
I remember, you know what? We just unlocked a core memory. When I was sitting in the back of my dad's LeSabre playing Tetris, I remember that voice in my head saying, "Don't play Tetris. That's a nerd's game." Seriously, that's where it happened. And I've held on to it until I'm 49 years old.
You're never that motivated, like wherever you got in the game and you lost, you're just like, okay.
Yeah, that's not the sign of a good game. Right? Yeah.
You're never like, yes.
Yeah.
You're just like,
I
all
made
right.
a full block of squares.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here, buddy.
All right. We will see you in a minute.